Hi everyone, this is Ting Yuen from Ting Yuen Art. Thank you for joining me. So here's another Friday, and so today I'm going to talk about imagination. Now, with imagination, I believe is something that we can practice. It's a skill that we can use that would basically empower our life and make our creative work better, because imagination brings you to a different realm that's outside of your reality. Now, as you know, I paint about life, dreams, aspirations. My work is between, even though it's about lessons that I've learned, but I always put a twist to it. So some people call it dreamscape, some people call it mindscape, some people call it surrealism. I just call it child's play because really what I do is I go to the studio and I play and I create work that's out of my imaginations as well as from my life lessons. And as you can see, I paint about people walking on a tightrope. This one I paint elephants on walking on a tightrope as well. And I also paint about girls sitting on a moon watching the stars. And I paint kids playing shadow puppets, but instead of seeing their shadows, they actually see the little animals that they're trying to mimic. So that is what imagination is about. It's about tapping into your reality, what you know in life, but yet give it a little twist. Hi everyone, thank you for showing up. I really appreciate it. So I believe that everybody has imagination. Okay, so if either you're a writer or you're a painter, or you can be a content writer, or you could be an entrepreneur. All of that needs creativity, and with creativity you can create so much with it, and always tap into it and believe in it. Okay, and I believe I got my skills basically from my mom. She used to babysit us, my sisters and I, with a ledger and a pencil, and that's all we got, ledger and pencil. We didn't even have crayons, just ledger and pencils, and we didn't have a lot of toys, so that was our favorite thing. So we would sit there all day and we would drew and drew and drew. And then at the end of the day, my sisters and I would swap our ledgers and see what had happened in our imagination. And usually it's about our future, what's going to happen. Fashion, I don't know what it is. I think it's because my mom was a really, really amazing sewer. She could look at some fashion out there and she would say, oh, that's a beautiful dress. And we didn't have a lot of money, so she would go home and she would actually draft it out. She would draft it out perfectly and make the dress. And I think that's the reason why my sisters and I used to draw fashion. We knew fashion like right away, right? And then, that was amazing. So we would have these ledgers and they would be filled up by the end of the day. And as well as when we were living in Singapore, we lived in the concrete jungle. If you've ever been to Singapore, it's an island, but it's a big city. So there's not much playground for us to go outside and play. So again, my sisters and I would draw and we would do all kind of imageries. And I remember when I didn't have enough toys, I wanted to have some dolls. So I even took some shoe boxes and I would draw little dolls images out of them. And then I would have little shoebox babies and I would actually put them to bed and all of that. But it worked, even if the fact that, they weren't very cuddly, but it served my purpose. So basically, I want you folks to realize that imagination is something you can tap into. So if you're a writer or you're a painter, do go to your studio and do some work. And sometimes it's a little hard to tap into it because imagination and your inspiration doesn't come in a perfect package with a bow. It doesn't. And especially when you haven't done any work for a while and you've been, stagnant with your work and reality of life kind of gets to you and you're not as inspired. But go in there anyway and do your work, because I do believe that our muse, I believe when I paint, when I do my creative things, I have a muse that helps me to work, and that's our higher self. So I believe that when I go in there and I do my sketches or whatever I'm doing, and if I don't see her around, and my sketches will actually become chicken scratches, and will actually begin with chicken scratches, and I would actually say, I'm here working, where are you? It's just like the Picasso saying, he says, inspiration exists, but it must find you working, and that is so true. And I do find that when you start sketching, when you start getting ideas, or when you sit on your typewriter and do a few words, from one word it will stem to another, just like when one piece of artwork will get you to create more and more. And when you create more and more, one idea will become 4 or 5. And that's one of the reasons that you can create a series of work or a series of books, because from one idea, draw out, what has inspired you. Make sure you write them down. Don't let them, disappear into thin air and never see them again. Write them down as soon as you feel it. Write them down, okay? Now, when you want to tap into inspiration, I have a ritual that I actually go into my studio. I switch off all my computers. Matter of fact, the days when I'm creating artwork, I don't switch on my computer as well at all. And I switch off all my phones, anything, and I unplugged. And right in the beginning of the day, I would grab myself my favorite beverage, sometimes coffee, sometimes a tea, and put on my favorite music, and I would go to work. And I would go there and work. And the first few days, usually it's, it doesn't look like much. But by the 3rd day, 4th day, I'll find that the ideas starting to flow, and it become a stream of, like an inspirational well. It'll just overflow, and then you'll get more and more new things coming out. So find yourself a ritual that you think that will really work for you, right? And go to that. And if you know that you have a muse, or if you have a higher self that helps you to create, tap into her or him. Talk to that muse. Talk to the inspirational well. And the only way to create work is knowing that the first few drafts, the first few works not going to look very good, but that's okay, because we are not, even if we're expert, when we go back to work again, if we haven't been, painting or writing for a few months, it will look like crap for a bit. And you just have to be okay with the fact that you're gonna have crap for a while, until you start practicing, until you start warming up, until your ideas are starting to flow. Okay, then it becomes better and better, because none of us start as an expert. We all start as an amateur. Even if we've been painting for years, if you haven't been painting for a while, when you go back to the studio, you feel like you're an amateur again, and that's okay. All you have to do is believe in yourself, and believe that, the more you work on it, the more you sketch, more and more ideas will come. And the more ideas will come, the ideas will get better and better. And when the ideas get better and better, don't lose them. Make sure you write them down. Make sure you write all of those ideas down. So the next time when you run out of ideas, you go into that little book and you look into it, you flip it, and then you say, okay, well, I haven't done this yet, so I'm going to play with that. Okay, so folks, if you're a writer or if you're a painter in any creative vocations, just make sure you don't expect too much from yourself, but expect that you're going to go and be disciplined and do your work. That's all you have to expect. You just have to make sure that you have discipline to go to work. Once you work and you put in the effort, things will just keep flowing to you. But if you still have a hard time tapping into inspiration well, I do have a free guide for you, and after I finish this live, I would put up the link so you can download it. And it has 22 ways to tap into inspiration well. There's all kind of different ways. One of it is actually, doodle in bed. Doodle in bed really helps, because your bed is so comfortable with all those pillows and all of that. So bring your sketchbook and draw and doodle. And the other thing I find that really helps is just don't expect a miracle right from the first few sketches. Expect you can do crap and just keep practicing it, because eventually they will become masterpieces. And as long as you paint or drew or write for yourself, be authentic, that energy will bring out. Your work will show that energy, will show that inspiration, and perhaps you will inspire another person to be inspired to work. And wouldn't that be an awesome thing, right? So everyone, have a creative weekend. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you enjoyed it, please let me know. And if you have any questions, do let me know. And like I said, when I finish with this video, I'm going to put in the link on 22 ways how to tap into your inspirational well. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and have a wonderful weekend, and create as much as you can. All right, bye.